Wildfire smoke has taken over the skies and is affecting millions of us. The air quality is bad, the skies are darker, and it may be prompting you to question how this is affecting your garden. That's what I want to talk about in today's video, and I'm going to break it down into two parts. The first is for people like me here in Ottawa that are far away from the wildfires, and we're going to talk about how it's affecting your garden if you are mainly dealing with smoke. The second half of the video is going to be directed to those of you that are way closer to the fires. That is Northwestern Ontario, and the territories I saw in a fire map are also on fire too. So I want to talk about what it's like if your garden is near places where the sky is not only dark, but ash is falling from the sky. This video is a bit of an emotional one for me because I actually am from Northwestern Ontario. So my whole family is there, my friends are there, and so I'm getting videos and pictures that are coming from there that I'm gonna actually be sharing with you guys in this video. And of course, my heart breaks for all of the First Nation communities that have lost everything, like Collins, Ontario, up near Armstrong. So not only are we going to talk about how it affects your garden, but in the description below, I have links for you of where you can donate some money if you want to help support these families that have lost everything in the fires. And then below that, I am going to have all of my resources that I used to research this video that you can click on to learn more. If you're new here, my name is Bree from Urban Gardening Canada, and I garden in Ottawa Zone 5. Luckily for me today, we have blue skies here. The air isn't too bad, but I am a little stuffed up because the smoke does give me a lot of allergies, so you'll just have to bear with me with that one. And we're going to talk about how the wildfire smoke is affecting your garden. There are actually 3 different factors that come into play with wildfire smoke, where 2 of them are net negatives and 1 of them is a positive. So really the question is, does it balance each other out? Truthfully, there's actually not a lot of research that has been done on this. So the conclusions on this are not that conclusive actually. So we're just going to talk about the 3 different factors that come into play, and then also what you can do, again, if you have ash on your plants, that way you can take better care of your garden. So the first factor at play is reduced solar radiation. And this is just that it's darker out. The smoke is covering the sun, and so you're not getting quite as bright of a light. Now, for us here that are far away from the fires, this really only lasts a short part of the day. It might only last like a week long. So in the grand scheme of things, for the growing time of your plants, if the wildfire smoke is reducing sunlight for a day or a week, it really isn't that big of a deal, and it's not going to affect your plants. Now, most of the research when it comes to how wildfire smoke affects our plants is done by companies like Purdue and Bayer, because they have a vested interest in knowing how this happens, versus there's actually not a lot of other research out there. But one of the plants that has been studied and does get affected by wildfire smoke is corn, along with sugarcane, which we don't grow here in Canada. And that's because it has a different type of photosynthesis called the C4 carbon fixation pathway. And it's because of this type of photosynthesis that the wildfire smoke will affect your corn. So it might show up as stunted growth or just slower growth on it, but otherwise all of the other plants aren't going to be affected by the wildfire smoke, so you don't have to worry about it. Now, the second negative that happens with this is that there is ground level ozone. So without getting into too much chemistry, what happens is there are particles that are in the smoke, along with smog if you ever get smog advisories, and they come together and create ozone. Now, there's ozone that's up in the sky, and that helps protect us from the sun. However, when it's at ground level, it's actually considered a pollutant, and it's really bad for your plants. And that's because this ozone can go into the stomata of your plants, which is the mouths that they breathe out of, and it goes into the plant tissue and oxidizes, and it kills that plant tissue. When there is too much ozone, your plant is now taking it in. It's going to be showing up as blemishes or dead parts of your plant's leaves. And it's also going to stunt the growth of your plants because now they're busy trying to clear out that ozone from the plant itself. Instead of being able to grow, they're now focusing on cleaning up versus being able to do any type of new growth or any fruit production. There is a little bit of research on ozone phytotoxicity, and this is how ozone is affecting your plants. So there's a bit of research on how it affects your plants, how it affects the soil and microbial activity, and even if it is a danger to food security. So this is something that I found a little bit of research on, but not a ton. But if you are interested in seeing what type of research is out there related to this, then I recommend searching up ozone phytotoxicity to get a little bit more information, because this is something that as wildfires continue to get worse, we are really truly going to have to start looking into this and getting more familiar with how this ozone can affect our plants. So these are the two net negatives that come with having wildfire smoke. And really the ozone from a prolonged period of time may cause problems, but there's just not enough research out there to know. So if you do see any blemishes, any spotting or dead spots on your leaves, there is a potential that that is happening to your plants. However, it's not a guarantee. Now, the one positive to your plants that comes from wildfire smoke is that the smoke actually disperses the solar radiation. So what happens is the sun is hitting the different particles in the smoke and it's sending them off in new ways that wouldn't normally hit your plant, which means that it's bouncing off and coming in. So that means that lower leaves that normally are in the shade are getting that solar radiation and they can start to photosynthesize. So there's a potential that the solar radiation that's blocked by the smoke versus the dispersal of solar radiation are a net neutral response to each other, where they are counteracting themselves. So this is why they say that overall the smoke isn't really going to cause too much to your plants. Now, again, this is more specific to us who are a far distance away, who are getting bad air quality for a day or a week at a time, and not necessarily to those who are really close to the fires. If you live right now in northwestern Ontario or anywhere that's near fires, the sky is going to be darker and it's going to last longer, and the air quality is going to be really bad, and there may be ash coming from the sky. So in this case, again, all of these factors such as the solar radiation, the dispersal of it, and the ozone all still play a part. It's just you're going to have a prolonged period of time where you are experiencing all of this, which just gives a more opportunity for damage to your plants. But really, a lot of the other issues is just you going outside in this really poor air quality and gardening. So the biggest thing that you can do if you are closer to the fires is to go outside and garden with an N95 mask on if you really have to go out and water your plants. Often we have wildfires because of droughts, so you do need to water your plants, which means that you really want to take care of yourself in any way possible, and that starts with wearing an N95 mask. Okay, so if you are gardening somewhere where there is ash falling from the sky, there is one good thing about this, and that is oftentimes people use wood ash in their garden as a fertilizer or soil amendment, so you don't have to worry about the ash landing on your soil if it's coming from a forest fire. If you are near a fire from an industrial fire and you had ash landing on your plants, this does not apply to you, but we're just talking about forest fires here. So when the ash is landing on the actual soil itself, you don't have to worry that it is causing damage to your garden. It's not the case, so you don't have to worry about that. But it's about whether it's landing on your food or your leaves and what to do from that case. If you have just a light dusting of ash over your ornamental plants, your perennials, leave it be, don't do anything with it, and just wait for rains to come and wash it off. If you are growing food and you want to clean the ash off of your food plants, first things first, clean them off once before you take them inside, and then clean them off a second time when you come inside. Do not use a handheld vacuum. Do not use a leaf blower. The last thing that you want to do is to blow the ash into the air and cause a new ash dust storm that you are inhaling. You want to avoid doing that. So you're either going to gently wipe off the ash. You can use a wet cloth or a wet paper towel, or use a very low stream of water from your hose to wash off the ash. You also want to wash it off into a part of your garden that you aren't using regularly, so don't wash it onto the walkways where you're stepping on it and bringing it into the house. Just wash it off into a part of your lawn that you aren't going to be stepping on right away, so that way it has time to filter through and you're not bringing all of that into your house. Once you've washed them off outside, you'll want to bring them into the house and wash them off a second time. When you are doing any work outside with washing off the ash, make sure that you're not doing it on a bad air quality day, and wear an N95 mask because you don't want to make any problems worse, and you really don't want to have any health concerns due to the air quality outside. If the ash is really thick, then consider peeling any vegetables that have a peel. If you're growing any leafy greens, peel off the outer leaves of them, and then you can also wash them in a mixture of vinegar water. You can soak them and then rinse them off one last time just to make sure that you've really gotten off all of that ash. The biggest thing for any of us near or far that are going through this is to really take care when you are going outside to take care of your garden. Your plants are going to make it through this. It's just about making sure that you as a gardener also can make it through this. So stay inside on really bad air quality days. If you have to go outside, wear an N95 mask. Take care of your pets as well. And for all the other animals out there, it's really important that you add water for them as well, because especially if you're near the fires, you're likely going through a drought, which means that the water access for all of these animals is not that accessible at all. So birds need water, squirrels and other land mammals. And so leaving out water at different heights in bird baths, I have one along my fence line or on the ground, means that you're giving them access to some water, or even if they need to wash their bodies off because the ash is falling around them too. Animals don't have the option of going inside on bad air quality days the way that we do, which means that they have to hunker down and find somewhere that is safe to stay so they aren't getting covered in ash, they're not breathing it in, and a lot of birds aren't going to be flying around as far of distances because it's that much harder on their bodies. So by adding water at different levels, you're just being able to support these animals to help them get through some of these worst days that we're all going through. And of course, gardening is meant to be one of those things that we do as a hobby for fun to help us relieve stress, relieve anxiety. And the wildfires are doing the exact opposite of that. I know even for me, I'm more upset about everything. I'm stressed out. And it's not just for my garden, it's for the fact that it's summer and we want to be able to be outdoors and enjoy things. We don't get a lot of hot weather around here, and the air quality is just stopping us from living our lives. It's stopping us from enjoying our gardens, and it's causing just a lot of stress and emotions. For all of my friends and family in Northwestern Ontario, I'm thinking about you every single day. I'm advocating for you since our government doesn't like to give any money to Northwestern Ontario ever. And for all of the First Nations communities that have lost everything, I am so sorry that this is what you're going through. Again, I have links below for you guys. I have a couple of them of where you can donate to help these families rebuild after such a catastrophic event. And for everybody that is struggling through these wildfires and the air quality and the emotions that come with it, just know that we're in this together and things will hopefully get better soon, and let's just support each other as a community. And I do hope that you found this video helpful, that you understand a little bit more about how it's affecting your garden, so that way you don't have to feel stressed out about all of these weather events and what's next and what's going to happen to your garden. And if you did enjoy today's video, if you did find it helpful, please make sure to give it a thumbs up, subscribe to the channel, and I also have a video here about the Super El Nino and what it means to your garden. And please, again, don't forget to check out those links below to donate to these communities. Bye.